Sometimes, as we settle down to bring some real events to you, I'm puzzled by how some shocking truths should be explained and how they should be accessible to a person. This is followed by the story they hear, which was also scanned and written by this. To speak, it's also a surprise and tragedy that's hard to hear. And you think the story I'm going to present you next is absolutely incredible, but it's something. This is also the woman person you're watching, and it was the dog that I said was why I said it was hard to be portrayed. Inanora is a dog. She walks like a dog. She feeds it like a dog. She plants it entirely dog action, she said. Dogs thinks her family is one, but she has a human form. And it's like a dog, you're dancing. And he also mentors dogs and wants something they want. She also faints as a dog. And let's laugh, her character is also a dog. Her body, however, appears to be in full human form. This event shocked the entire world as Kwu, after he was heard from the future Ukraine. A surprising and shocking story, especially one in which a lot of documentary and documentary films were presented, which extensively disputed the practices of the ill and the professionals. This is the Ukrainians you watch, called Oksana Malayat. She was then 7 years from a midterm teenager, even when she was arrested by Ukrainian police aisles and offered what turned out to be a conversation to the media. However, as a result of her age, Kyu, who never fully possessed the basic skills that humans needed or did, and her body looked entirely human, not entirely dog-behaved, to clean her body, which attacks her tongue to keep the dirt she finds on the streets flying through her mouth to walk and say the way, with the grooves added and 2 hands. Quickly, the lady was the one who ran freely immediately. The police who first met her, who were standing in place and watched this, however, and any other Ukrainian citizen who saw the situation in motion pictures through the television windows, when they first saw it in Mirum, it is likely that this actor's art created a question and talked to them, either saying ate or not, overworn and seeing the water that landed on the hairdry while she was herself stripping it off as dogs do. However, we say a lot about her in grief at the yet unproven tragedy of what this girl has been facing. They prayed for her as a march, and so much. Looking at her Walla history, the story tells us that her birth was according to the European herbal formula in November 1983, in a settlement named Rayona Bonova, in the Kherson region in southern Ukraine. When she was born, a different set of ill and professional documentaries that appeared in the period and spoke of what she knew about this woman and her midwife, Oksana, who was a healthy girl who had a weight of more than 5 pounds at birth, had no weight or an attached health range, according to an affidavit, and she had heard her testimony in confirmed candid documentaries and medical experts. So why is Oksana Malayalam created as a human whose character is inclined to be a dog? Too Grocham nature has left scientists to the head the phenomenon that she attacks to go, combining her hands. The infirmity and experts also looked at it, giving it wide attention. And when we reveal her background tragedy, her tearful, tragic story is shown. His parents were also named Alexander Maley and Valentina Malaya. Sadly, they were addicted to alcohol, and as they were accustomed to not getting enough family care and protection as a young girl, the mother and father, who came drunk one night as a drunken vulture, also did not care to get their 3-year-old together. They closed their silver as if she was out of neglect. So they didn't come out to want her to forget her. At the time, he had seen them more love for drinks than child love. and they finished and forgotten about her. Impressed by the moment, it was the dogs of the neighborhood who took her through the night with a circle to spend more than save Ramda from being a beast toy for the time, and then hug her and pass her on the night to pass her cyberdat. She was from their center and surrounded by dogs and passed them for the night. Her family, however, forgot about it and left her on the streets then, and her number with dogs was also being sent with dogs from the age of 3. When she was a toddler, the deprivation of the dogs is sucked in the unconscious tongue. The dog's lusts suckled, and the food thrown to the dogs became better and more consumed with the dogs, who killed wildly in the area. But the dogs waited for her, and she immediately made her progress. This teenager also did this for 6 consecutive years, so that her cafes didn't look like them for a day and 2, starting at the age of 3. One fruit girl she knew nothing from then on has her closeness to man completely passed down, and Faustus. She is a stand-in and is like a dog, with Ananora as a dog. Today in a limited